Hello, welcome. Welcome to
Hi.
our conversation today with Hakan Odzman, who is Vice President, Executive Vice President for Prysmian of the business unit called Projects, the Projects Business Unit. My name is Jennifer Clark. I'll be talking with Hakan about the energy transition today. It's a topic I'm sure you're all aware of. We're in the middle of the energy transition now. Actually, we're moving from fossil fuels to renewable sources with the goal of becoming eventually carbon neutral to ensure a clean and healthy future for everyone. Key to this effort, especially in Europe, Europe has set very precise carbon neutral targets, is the German energy transition. Germany is Europe's largest economy. It's very important that Germany meets its targets. It has a huge industrial base. That's why Germany has decided on doing a very ambitious cables project, which Prysmian is involved with, to bring the energy generated in the wind farms in the North Sea through some very avant-garde, specially developed new cables that are being laid by Prysmian and other partners from the North Sea for hundreds of kilometers to Germany, cities like Stuttgart in the south, Germany's industrial base. And so we're going to talk about that today with Hakan. The news came out that Prysmian won the bid during COVID. Did you do some of that work during the COVID? What was that like? And what was your reaction when you heard after all these years you've been working on this project that you won?
Oh, yeah. I have to say that, first of all, I feel like anything is possible. There is nothing which is impossible. Because during the time of COVID, it was really a challenge for us to bring a team of 200 people together to work on the project. But this project is actually followed it like 2 years ago. We started to innovating, developing new products and getting them qualified. So it was hit by COVID, but it wasn't let's say, only during the period of COVID. It was a long-term, let's say, accomplishment, I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, were you pretty confident about winning, or was it a big surprise?
To be frank, I was confident. I got also into bets about winning or losing these projects because I was trusting a lot our technology, our innovation, and we were very well prepared. We have very good engineers and about 200 people to bring together to solve complicated matters, because this is not a project that, it's not like a product that you sell. It's a solution that we offer, and you have to create the best solution for the customer. And I was confident, but apart being confident, you have to be resilient and work through all, let's say, the checkpoints, and finally we were able to.
Yeah, I mean, now the work is really just starting. So let's take a step back and talk about the energy transition. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to Prysmian? What is the importance of it?
I mean, energy transition is not only important for Prysmian, it's for our future, for the world, because I'm a fan of nature, and I'm a fan of our planet. So it's the only planet we have, and it's an amazing world we are living in. So we have to protect it, and the only way to protect it is to align our in the limitations of the planet. We should not challenge it. And so far, we challenged the planet a lot with the carbon fuel. And it was good for growing the industry, fine. But after we are capable of managing the technology well, we should look for alternative energy sources. And the alternative energy sources recently have been grown and have been matured so significantly. One of them is the offshore wind farms, as much as the onshore, we were part of it. I think from that perspective, now we are ready for the energy transition. What is the energy transition? It's the energy transition that the whole world is going to experience in one way or the other. The economic factors are going to be the deciding factor. And we will move from traditional, let's say, technologies towards renewable energy to use the sources that are already existent in the nature and convert them to energy for our future to make it more sustainable. And that's the whole energy transition. Two big words, but practically it is we are moving from an environment where we are less impacting the environment, and we become more, let's say, sustainable for the world.
Okay. Well, when you say we are ready for the energy transition, what do you mean by that? Do you mean the technology is ready?
I can say that, 20 years ago, the technology was not mature enough. And there were many companies that were investing in offshore wind farms and turbines. But right now, the technology has evolved in such a pace that now the turbines, including the cabling and all the activities, have proven that it is mature enough to economically that you can compare them with the traditional, let's say, fuels and energy sources. So therefore, once the economies are there, you don't need to do activism. You don't need to protest against it, because the economy, the financial, is going to drive automatically the transition. So, and we are ready in that perspective. We are ready, and we are showing it is impossible to stay against it, because if you have a source which is clean and which is not impacting, and on the other hand, your bottom line is better, with this source, there is no one that is going to say, I'm still insisting in using the technologies which have big impact on the world.
Yeah, well, that's very encouraging. That's very encouraging to hear. And I think the German Corridors project is a good example of exactly what you're talking about. Innovation is embedded in Prysmian Group's DNA, and you will be using the breakthrough 525 kVp laser technology cable in 2 of the 3 German corridors. Can you talk about the path that you take when you transform an idea into a real product innovation, as is the case with the German corridors?
I mean, innovation is the driver of our world. I mean, you have to have innovation in your products, in your services, in your offerings. And I have to say, the project itself is an innovative project from the German, let's say, perspective. I think Germany made an extremely intelligent decision to create an infrastructure to move the renewable energy from one point to the other, because you cannot have energy sources without connection where you need the energy. The source and the need should be somehow connected, and these are interconnectors, and Germany made that effort. We were able to create a product that is not actually new, but it was 15-20 years ago. We had a technology called P-laser, but the technology was not, let's say, accepted at that time from the market, and also from the, let's say, from the utilization experience on the technology, because energy sector is a very different sector than in the telecommunication. For example, in telecommunication, things go very quickly. In energy, is more traditional, more difficult and dangerous at the same time, and investments are big, and failures may occur. So therefore, you have to have a robust technology that you're implementing. So that P-laser I remember when I was a young engineer, when I saw the things that this P laser was giving, and I said, this is real innovation. This is really different than normal technology cables. And successfully, Prysmian was able to implement, especially the last 5-10 years, we were very good in the medium voltage P laser implementation. So, and now we are moving this into an arena, which is the high-tech arena, 500 kV arena, which is, the high voltage. So you need really a good company and good innovative engineers behind it to make it work. So, and our customers, they were out of the three German corridor projects, two of them trusted to that technology. They saw it as I saw it, as Prysmian saw it. This is the technology of the future. It is it changes completely the way that you look to the extruded cable. I don't want to enter into much details, but I can say that this is really one game changer for the industry and also for the utilities. I strongly recommend even the most conservative utility should have a look to this product.
Why do you say it's a game changer? That's interesting.
It's a game changer because the cables, the extruded cables that we do with cross-linked polyethylene, these are cables which need longer time to produce and higher investment, and at the same time they have let's say they are not as good as the power transmission capabilities of the P laser. And on the other hand, P laser, we came into a world right now which flexibility is everything. We switch on and off. We control everything. We don't leave energy, let's say, wasted. So we do smart grids to control the grids and use the bits and pieces of energy in the utmost possibility. So in this way, P laser is that gives the flexibility to divert the current from one direction to the other without any issue. So that means you can, whenever you have surplus of energy in one side or the other, you can switch and move the energy as you like. So that you cannot do with the extruded technology. So therefore, this is a game changer for TSOs and utilities who have quick changes of, let's say, we call it polarity reversals. But these are the technologies that will give a big advantage for the utilities to manage their grid more smart.
Interesting. So going back to the German corridors again, we've just talked about the technology that you bring to the table. What other skills and capabilities were the key success factors that allowed Prysmian to win SüdOstLink, A-Nord, and SüdLink projects?
Of course, you need people. I mean, the first thing is in anything, if you don't have good people, dedicated and experienced people, you cannot do anything. We are talking about 200 people that were involved in the project. You need to have track record of having done successful, especially in this case, DC projects, which we call direct current project. You have to, have good relationship with your customers and convince them that with your past record, you were able to do these kind of enormous projects. This is an enormous project. It's a big project. It's a mega project. Be competitive. I mean, in this world where we are, you have to be competitive. You cannot just give a technology and ask any price for it. You have to be competitive, and there is big competition in this arena. You have to also evaluate the risks very well. The terms and conditions that you are developing during that can develop during the project is important. How much risk you would like to take, depending on how much trust you have in your, let's say, technology. And then innovation, innovation, you have to have innovative products. And here, out of the 3 projects, 2 are voted for the innovative product. And I think that shows also that how much innovation has a base. And then you have to have a team that is able to, with the capacity, with your strategy on the logistics, that you can fulfill this project. You have to give the comfort to the customer, because no one wants to fail these kind of projects. Not the German, let's say, TSOs, nor the politicians in Germany, nor Prysmian. So you have to win, and you have to give that comfort to the customer.
Well, this is a milestone project in the industry. It's very ambitious. The German government is aiming really high. Let's talk about some of the numbers involved, some of the kind of record-setting numbers. You mentioned the team was 200 people. Can you talk about some of the other numbers involved to give us an idea? Thanks.
I would be very happy to talk about them. We had about 200 people working in the team for preparing the tender, preparing for the tender and the solution, because it is you sell an engineering solution, so an engineered solution. You need many engineers, many different views, and many different engineers with different, let's say, capabilities and professions. Tender period, we worked like 20 months, starting from the testing the technology until to get the tender financials together. It was 20 months of work with 200 people. It is the largest cable project in Germany ever, and also in the cable industry. I think this is the biggest cable project that has ever been done. So we have like 2,300 kilometers of cable, 525 cable, kV cable, 2,300 kilometers. With we will have 3 different sites, and it will be the biggest the construction site in Germany. If you think from that perspective, it's from the north of Germany down to the south and southeast. So we can say that one highlight of this is the limitations of the logistics. That was also key. One drum of cable will be about 100 tons. So you have to be able to analyze where these drums can go under which bridges they can go, what waterways we can use, and how much more we can load onto the drum, so that we said, in Germany, the road max load is about 100 tons. So we were exactly in the edge of to use, let's say, 100 tons drum to get the permission not to damage the road, but be able to deliver these cables. So it is the project has many different firsts, but we feel that they will be successful in the next 5 years in implementing.
Yes, very interesting. It'll be fascinating. When will you start? Like actually, manufacturing and then installing? Actually,
we started already. The tender has been given to us immediately after we had, we have started. Because we are building a team. It's going to be a huge team. I say a different company because we are going to be a company inside a company, and therefore you have to recruit good quality engineers, site managers, and also you have to train many people on the technical side to achieve a successful project. So we immediately started. We worked with some headhunters together to get the higher end people and also the technical people. And now we are working on the engineering side, and at the same time we are going to go through some requested tests that we have to do, and there is no time to lose. I mean, we immediately started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where will the cables be manufactured?
We have, a great facility in France, in Grand. It's our high voltage plant. Majority of the cable are going to be produced there, but at the same time we have many facilities inside our group. So depending on the situation, at backup we have some other facilities as well that we can utilize. But the major hub of production is going to be in France.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up with just one last question, going back to the energy transition. How can Prysmian, apart from this contract now, looking forward, tackle the challenge and keep enabling the energy transition?
I mean, I give the simple example. Without cable, there is no transition. You have to transit the energy. You have to first create an environment where you generate energy. Then you have to transform the energy from one location to the other. So without cable, there is no energy transition. So without Prysmian, there won't be any energy transition because we are the largest player in the world currently in the transition. It's not only in Europe, it's in US, it's in Southeast Asia, it's in other countries of the world, wherever it's required. So Prysmian is going to become the major, and I see some, let's say, financial analysts that are looking and they are defining top 20 companies that are leading the energy transition. I always see Prysmian in those lists. So without Prysmian, it's going to be very difficult. We have the largest capacity and the biggest capability, and at the same time, we are, we have a very good track record, and we are thinking ahead, helping our customers to reduce their cost and to enable their targets. So from that perspective, Prysmian is going to be in the heart of the energy transition.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if other countries follow Germany's lead. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We've been speaking with Hakan Özmen, Executive Vice President of the Projects Business Unit with Prysmian Group. Thank you very much, Hakan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.